What's going on, guys? It's Keefe. In today's video, we are going over the 5 most destructive behaviors of modern men. Now, before we get into that, this channel is about building better men. So if that resonates with you out there, hit the subscribe button and bell icon and join me and thousands of other men in creating a better generation of men. Now, let's get into the video. So the first behavior I've got down here, guys, is that modern men fail to make their own choices about their life and to make their own decisions for where they're going to go in their life. They wind up on career paths because a counselor or their high school teachers told them the best thing to do is to go to college and take this career path, or their parents wanted them to be whatever it is, or their friends were all doing one thing so they decided to do that as well. Or maybe they're in a relationship but you don't really want to be in the relationship, but you kind of got talked into it by the girl and now you're in a relationship you're not very happy with. Whatever the case may be, guys fail to make their own decisions for their lives, and this just leads to a failure to go on your own adventure. And when you don't go on your own adventure, you don't figure out how you're meant to impact this world. And if you don't figure out how to have an impact on this world, you're not going to have the fulfilling relationships. You're not going to have the fulfilling career. You're not going to have the money you want. You're just not going to resonate as much in life if you're doing a bunch of things that aren't really true to you, because you're going to half-ass it, right? Like if you're in a career that just doesn't really inspire you, sure, you're going to show up because you don't want to get fired probably, but at the end of the day, it's just not going to push you over the edge, right? The people who really do well in a certain career field are the ones who are really where they're supposed to be, and it just inspires them, right? Like the person who climbs the corporate ladder is the one who really wants to have an impact on that particular corporation, whereas the people who are just there because they don't want to get fired and they want to check, they're the ones who are probably going to have a slower climb. They're not going to get as high up the ladder. So it's really important for your financial future, for your relationships, for your overall happiness, to make your own decisions, and some of that is going to come with ups and downs because a lot of people are going to judge and doubt what you're doing, and you're going to have to learn a lot along the way, but that's just part of the process. And in the end, you just got to have faith that you'll figure everything out and you'll get to where you're supposed to be. Second one I've got here, guys, is that modern men tend to make women their top priority, and this is a huge mistake. For one thing, it just kills attraction because no woman's attracted to a man who's just some kiss-ass guy who's trying to get her affection all the time. And also, it's like you can't make another person the thing that completes you, right? This is this whole romantic thing of our modern era, so you complete me nonsense, but it's like somebody else can't complete you. They're not God, right? Like you got to complete yourself, because then if you're not complete within you and you're looking at the other person to do that, you're entering the relationship from the perspective of I'm trying to take from you, right? And if you're trying to take from somebody, it's just a bad balance of a relationship. You want to go into the relationship looking to give. So in fact, you really shouldn't be looking to get into a serious relationship unless you feel like you've done a lot of work on yourself and you're in a place where you're like, you know what, I'm in a spot where I want to give more to somebody else and they can give back to me. But if you're looking to get into the relationship for sexual fulfillment, which again is a take, or you're looking to fill up inner voids in yourself, feel like you're loved, get rid of your loneliness, that's again a take. This is a bad attitude that men have when it comes to relationships. And again, if you put the woman as the top priority in your life, everything else dissipates, right? Another person can't be the center of your life because you can't maintain everything else. I'll give you an example. When I first started in real estate, I was doing pretty well, surprisingly well, actually, considering I didn't have any real base of people I could talk to, because at the age, I was, 21 when I started in real estate. Nobody that was in my social circle was buying houses or selling houses, so I had to go find all the business, and I was doing pretty well in that. Then I started talking to this girl, and I'm not going to say that was the only reason things fell apart for me with real estate, but I just quit focusing on real estate. It was like I might be doing something with real estate, but if the girl wanted to talk to me, I dropped everything, talked to the girl. I just made my entire day revolving around this girl. Like, how do I get her to like me more? How do I make sure she doesn't leave me? And again, it was all about filling this inner void, and I thought if I don't make her the top priority, if I don't constantly make her happy, then she's going to leave me. But the thing about that is there's two things. One, if that's actually true, then she shouldn't be in your life, and two, it's not true, because no woman wants to be the center of your life. She wants your time, obviously, but if you don't value your time and you just give it up completely, that's not attractive, and also it just shows you have nothing going on and you're not going to accomplish anything in your life. You want to have a complete life, and the best way to have a complete life is to put your purpose at the center of it, and the woman can come along with that. The right woman will come along with you on that. The same way you don't put your friends as your top priorities, you just have the right friends that are on the same path as you, and that's the key here. Third one I've got on here, guys, guys, is being driven by fear, the fear to follow dreams, the fear to approach a girl, the fear of like, what will other people think if I do something against the grain? People are driven by fear, so they conform to what everybody wants, whether or not it makes sense to them. They do what the most logical, safe bet for a career is. Again, kind of like with number one, where I was talking about letting other people make your decisions for you. Or you see a pretty girl, you don't approach her, all these things, and it's just you're robbing yourself of that adventure in life. All of the times when you grow in your life, you had to transcend a fear, and all the things you want to accomplish in your life, the things you have accomplished in your life, required you to step past a fear. As a baby, when you first learned to walk, you had to get over the fear of falling, right? But if you look at a baby, the baby could care less if it falls. It's like, I'm going on my mission, and I'm going to figure it out. Babies actually seem to have a crap ton of self-confidence. I guess it's because their ego hasn't developed, so they're not constantly fighting with themselves. So you could honestly look at a baby and be like, how can I have the mindset of a baby when it comes to like growing my business or going after whatever it is I want in my life? Because the baby's fearless. The baby could care less if it falls down. It's going to just keep going until it learns to walk. And it's that same attitude that you want to develop. But most guys are fear driven. They stay in their comfort zone, and you can just see these people. They're just very unfulfilled, but they don't realize they're doing it to themselves because of their unwillingness to risk what they have for what they could have. And it's a huge thing that it really just like, if you could start to break through one fear every single day, your self-confidence would explode and you'd feel significantly better, and just more positive things would start coming into your life. Fourth one I got on here, guys, is a victim mindset. I mean, honestly, like if you feel like you're a victim, this leads to resentment. You can't achieve anything if you feel like a victim because you feel like it's determined by somebody else. Anything in your life that you have achieved, it's because you believed you could achieve it. Anything you will in your future achieve is because you believed you could achieve it. If you thought you were a victim and that something else was in control of the situation, then you didn't take action because you felt like it was pointless. For example, like let's say you're even something small, like you're getting a glass of water. You had to believe that your body could get up, walk to the kitchen, get the glass of water, fill it up, and drink it, right? I know that's so small, but still, like, you don't think anything about it. You believe you can do it. You got to take that mindset to every other part of your life, but guys don't seem to understand that is so key. Like, if you're not going to get a promotion at work if you don't believe it's within your power. If you think it's like the boss is just going to pick somebody at random and the boss doesn't like me. Like, the guys who don't make the basketball team in high school, I remember this used to always be the excuse if you didn't make the basketball team. I said it as well when I didn't make the basketball team, is, oh, well, the coach has favorites, right? That was always the excuse. The coach has favorites. Maybe he has favorites, but if that's your attitude, you're not going to make the team because you think you're a victim of the coach's preferences, and you've already decided you're not his preference. You could say, well, it really doesn't matter. I'm just better, and I'll prove I'm better, right? So like it's a different mindset, and if you give yourself that victim excuse that somebody else has the power over you, you won't achieve anything. And it's just become so popular in our modern society to play the victim because you get points for being a victim in the like social justice hierarchy and all these different things. You just get points for it. We curve grades in school so that if you do really bad on a test, you don't feel as bad. You get participation trophies at a young age in sports. Like, we constantly promote victimhood, so you got to train that back out of you by recognizing that it really doesn't matter. If you believe you're a victim to something, you're not going to accomplish it, so you might as well just say, I'm not a victim to anything. Fifth one, guys, is a failure to stick with anything. I've talked about this on a previous video in depth, but basically we live in this world where there's so many options, and what guys tend to do is they pick an option, and the moment they run into an obstacle, they assume that another option will be easier, so they switch to another option, and what happens is you never develop and hone a skill at anything. But honestly, guys, the point of this is that you're going to suck at everything when you first start it, and if you don't stick with anything, you're never going to get good at anything. You're never going to specify yourself, and if you don't get to where you're like a specialist at something, you won't get paid, right? A brain surgeon is a specialist at working on a brain, right? He gets paid more than a general doctor you go to see for whatever your issue is, right? It's because he's specialized at a certain skill. Go back, if you really want to be motivated, go back and watch like my first few YouTube videos, and I was terrible at making videos. You might still think I'm terrible now. Like, I'll probably think I'm terrible in a few months when I look back on this, but I've definitely gotten better, right? And you'll see that progression over time to where, like, that kind of guy who was talking back then, like, I couldn't even look at the camera for long. I couldn't think off the top of my head. I had no expression emotionally. It took time, but if I'd looked at that and been like, you know what, one, my channel's not growing as fast as I'd like, and I'm not good at this, let's forget it, then I wouldn't be working on building something that's helping other people that I enjoy doing, that really could build a future that I want for my life. And this mindset you need to apply to everything. I don't care if you want to be like a great electrician or you want to be great at computer coding. First, you got to suck at something. In order to be a master, you first have to be willing to be a fool at something. Now, guys, I want you to comment and tell me which of these 5 was the most relevant in your life, which one you struggled the most with. For me, I'd say it's probably number 3. I do have a hard time making sure that I'm going through the terror barrier. I'm breaking through my fears in all areas of my life, and so it's one I have to be consciously resonant of. But I'd love to know which one of these 5 is the one that you have to do the most conscious work on to make sure you don't let it slow you down. Be sure to give me a like if you got something out of this video. Hit the subscribe button and bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.